Right now, as you watch this, over 9 million Americans are living in foreign countries. Not diplomats, not military personnel, not retirees on a tropical vacation. Ordinary Americans, teachers, nurses, software engineers, young couples, single parents, who looked at the cost of living in the United States, did the math, and decided that they could not stay. They packed their lives into suitcases, said goodbye to their families, and left, not for adventure, not for excitement, for survival. This is called the American financial exodus, and it is accelerating. According to the U.S. State Department and multiple independent surveys, the number of Americans living abroad has grown by over 40% in the last decade alone. The sharpest increase came after 2020, after COVID, after the inflation surge, after housing prices hit all-time highs and wages failed to keep up. People did not leave because they stopped loving America. They left because America became unaffordable for them. And the numbers prove it. Today we are going to break this down completely. We are going to look at exactly why Americans are leaving, exactly where they are going, how much money they are saving by leaving, and what this mass exodus says about the state of the American economy. Because this is not just a human interest story. This is a 5-alarm warning that the American financial system is failing ordinary people on a scale that is forcing them to abandon the country entirely. I am Max, and this is the story they do not want you to see. Let's start with the numbers that are driving people out. The median home price in the United States as of 2024 is $420,800. The median household income is approximately $74,000 per year. That means the average American family needs nearly 6 full years of their total gross income just to afford the purchase price of a median home. Before interest, before property taxes, before insurance. In 1970, that ratio was 2.3 years. In one generation, buying a home went from a realistic goal to a mathematical impossibility for most Americans. And it is not just housing. Healthcare costs for the average American family, including premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket expenses, now exceed $23,000 per year. Childcare in most major American cities costs between $15,000 and $35,000 annually per child. Student loan debt has crossed $1.77 trillion total, with the average borrower owing $37,000 at graduation. And the federal minimum wage has been frozen at $7.25 per hour since 2009, which in real inflation-adjusted terms means it has lost approximately 30% of its purchasing power since 1968. Now here is the critical piece that explains why people are choosing to leave rather than simply downsize or cut back. In countries like Mexico, Portugal, and Thailand, the same standard of living, or often a significantly higher standard, can be achieved for a fraction of the cost. A 2-bedroom apartment in Lisbon, Portugal that would cost $3,200 per month in any comparable American city costs between $900 and $1,400. Private health insurance in Mexico covers hospitalizations, specialist visits, and prescriptions for approximately $150 per month. This is the math that is moving millions of people. So who exactly is leaving? The popular narrative is that this is a phenomenon of wealthy retirees and digital nomads. People with money and freedom who are choosing an exotic lifestyle. That narrative is wrong. The fastest growing demographic of American expats is working-age adults between 25 and 45 earning between $45,000 and $90,000 per year. They are teachers, nurses, customer service workers, graphic designers, freelancers. They are not wealthy. They are people who did the math and found that their income goes 2 to 3 times further in another country. Let me give you a real example. Sarah is a 34-year-old registered nurse in Austin, Texas. She earns $78,000 per year, a solid income by American standards. But her rent is $2,100 per month for a 1-bedroom apartment. Her student loan payment is $480 per month. Her car insurance and payment total $750 per month. Her groceries run $450 per month. After federal and state taxes, she takes home approximately $4,900 per month, and her fixed monthly expenses consume $3,780 of that. She has $1,120 left for everything else. Savings, emergencies, entertainment, clothing, medical expenses not covered by insurance. Now let us do the same calculation for Sarah in Lisbon, Portugal. The same salary, $78,000 converted to euros, her approximately $72,000 per year. Taxes in Portugal for foreign income earners under the NHR program, non-habitual resident, can be as low as a flat 20%. Rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in a desirable Lisbon neighborhood, $100 per month. Private health insurance covering everything. Groceries for $250 per month. Via Metro and occasional Uber, $100 per month. Her total monthly expenses, approximately $900. Take home after tax, approximately $4,800. She saves nearly $2,900 per month, every single month. Portugal is not the only destination. Mexico, particularly cities like Mexico City, Oaxaca, Mérida, and the Lake Chapala region, has become the single largest destination for American expats. Over 1 million Americans now live in Mexico, according to the U.S. Embassy. The appeal is obvious. A fully furnished two-bedroom apartment in a central Mexico City neighborhood costs $600 to $900 per month. A sit-down restaurant meal costs $5 to $12. Comprehensive private health insurance, $100 to $200 per month. The country is 1 hour by plane or a few hours by car from the U.S. border. Proximity makes it easier for families who do not want to completely sever ties. Thailand, specifically the cities of Chiang Mai, Bangkok, and Phuket, represents a different value proposition. Further from the United States, a 20-hour flight, but offering perhaps the most dramatic cost of living reduction of any popular expat destination. A comfortable one-bedroom apartment in Chiang Mai, $250 to $400 per month. Full private health insurance, $80 to $150 per month. Street food meals of restaurant quality, $100 to $3. A full-time house, $200 to $300 per month. Many Americans who move to Chiang Mai report living comfortably, not frugally but genuinely comfortably, on $1,500 to $2,000 per month total. That is less than most Americans pay in rent alone. But this exodus is not without its complications. Americans who leave face a set of challenges that are rarely discussed in the enthusiastic expat content you see on social media. The United States is one of only 2 countries in the world, the other being Eritrea, that taxes its citizens on worldwide income regardless of where they live. This means that an American living in Lisbon, earning money remotely from a U.S. company, still owes U.S. federal income taxes. Additionally, FBAR requirements, foreign bank account reports, require Americans to report any foreign bank account holding more than $10,000. Failure to comply can result in penalties exceeding the account balance itself. Let us go deeper into Portugal specifically, because it represents something remarkable. A first-world European country with world-class infrastructure, a stable democratic government, excellent public health care, a coastline of extraordinary beauty, and a cost of living that is 40 to 50% lower than comparable American cities. Lisbon has a metro system. It has Michelin star restaurants. It has world-ranked universities. It has a crime rate far below most American cities. And until recently, it had a specific tax incentive designed explicitly to attract high-income foreign residents, the NHR or non-habitual resident program. Colombia, particularly Medellín, deserves special mention because it represents perhaps the most dramatic reinvention story in the expat world. Medellín was once listed as the most dangerous city on earth. Today it is frequently ranked among the most innovative and livable cities in Latin America, winning the Wall Street Journal's Most Innovative City Award. The transformation is remarkable. The city has a world-class metro and cable car system connecting hillside neighborhoods. It has a thriving tech startup scene, excellent private hospitals, and a cost of living that is approximately 65% lower than comparable U.S. cities. A 2-bedroom apartment in the best neighborhoods, $500 to $800 per month. Spain, specifically Valencia, Seville, and the Canary Islands, represents the safest and most familiar European transition for Americans. English is widely understood in urban areas. The food is Mediterranean, the climate is warm, the infrastructure is modern and well-maintained. And while Spain is more expensive than Portugal or Colombia, it is still dramatically cheaper than comparable American coastal cities. Valencia, frequently ranked as one of the most livable cities in Europe, offers a 2-bedroom apartment for $900 to $300 per month, year-round sunshine, a Mediterranean beach, a world-class food market, and a public healthcare system that is ranked among the top 10 in the world. Now let us talk about the specific financial calculations that push people from thinking about leaving to actually leaving. The tipping point, according to surveys of American expats conducted by organizations like Internations and Expat Insider, is almost always a single financial shock event. A surprise medical bill, a rent increase of $400 per month, a student loan payment resumption, a car that breaks down with no savings to repair it. That single event, that moment when the math becomes undeniable, is when most people start seriously researching alternatives. And what they find when they research is that the alternatives are far better than they expected. The research process itself is remarkable in what it reveals. Most Americans who begin researching expat options discover things they were never taught and never expected to find. They discover that the United States ranks 17th in the world for quality of life, according to the 2024 U.S. News and World Report rankings, behind countries like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Canada, Australia, and even Portugal. They discovered that the World Health Organization ranks American healthcare 37th globally, behind countries that spend a fraction of what Americans spend. They discover that the United States has no federally mandated paid maternity leave, one of only 6 countries in the world with this gap. They discover that vacation entitlements in Europe are legally guaranteed at 4 to 6 weeks per year, compared to no federal minimum in the United States. Here is where this story becomes something more than a personal finance discussion. Because when you look at the scale of the American financial exodus, 9 million people already gone, numbers growing 40% per decade, a disturbing question emerges. What happens to a country when its most educated, most productive, most financially motivated citizens decide that the country no longer works for them and leave? This is called brain drain. And historically, brain drain is one of the clearest indicators that a nation's economic and political systems are failing its citizens in ways that cannot be fixed through individual effort. The political and economic establishment in America has largely responded to the financial exodus in one of two ways. The first response is to dismiss it, to characterize departing Americans as ungrateful, unpatriotic, or naive people who will regret their decision. The second response is silence. Neither response addresses the underlying causes. And the underlying causes are not mysterious. Housing is unaffordable because zoning laws and institutional investors have distorted the market. Healthcare is unaffordable because the insurance industry has been allowed to extract profit from human illness without competitive constraint. Wages are stagnant because union power has been deliberately dismantled over 50 years. These are policy choices, not market forces. There is another dimension to this story that is almost never discussed in mainstream media coverage of the expat phenomenon. The countries that are receiving American expats are not passive beneficiaries. They are actively competing for them. Portugal created the NHR tax program specifically to attract foreign high-income earners. Mexico has streamlined its temporary and permanent residency processes for Americans. Colombia has enacted a digital nomad visa. Costa Rica, Panama, Uruguay, and a dozen other countries have created residency programs with explicit financial incentives designed to attract American retirees and remote workers. These countries looked at the failure of the American system to retain its own citizens, and they built competitive products to capture those citizens. So what should you take from this? Let me be absolutely direct. This video is not telling you to leave America. It is not a travel promotion or an expat recruitment piece. It is a financial analysis of a real trend driven by real economic forces, affecting real people with real consequences for the country as a whole. What you should take from this is a clearer understanding of why your financial struggle is not personal failure, and a broader awareness of options that exist outside the narrow frame of choices you have been presented with your entire life. If you are currently earning income remotely and have the flexibility of location, the financial case for spending even 1 or 2 years abroad while building savings is extraordinarily compelling. If you are a retiree or near retiree whose social security or pension income simply does not stretch far enough in high-cost American cities, destinations like Medellín, Mexico City, Chiang Mai, or the Algarve in Portugal can extend that income by a factor of 2 or 3. If you are younger and just beginning your career, understanding that geography is now a financial variable, not a fixed constraint, may be the most important financial insight of your generation. The 9 million Americans who have already left are not traitors. They are not failures. They are not people who gave up on the American dream. They are, in many cases, the most financially literate people in the country, the ones who looked at the actual numbers, compared them to alternatives that exist in the real world, and made the rational choice. They are people who discovered that the American dream, owning a home, having healthcare, retiring comfortably, living without financial terror, is available, just not necessarily in America. And that is the most damning statistic of all. If this video opened your eyes to something you did not know before, share it. Every person who understands the true scale of the American financial exodus is better equipped to make decisions for their own life. Whether that means staying and advocating for change, or exploring what a different geography could mean for their financial future. Subscribe to this channel if you want the unfiltered financial truth every single week. Drop a comment below. Are you considering leaving? Have you already left? Are you planning to stay and fight? I want to hear from you. I am Max. Stay informed, and I will see you in the next one.